Hey y'all, welcome to the Peculiar Adair. My name is Joelle.
I'm Marlon.
And today we're going to give y'all a cost breakdown of what we spent to get into our 2025 manufactured home on raw land. All right, y'all. Once again, my name is Joelle. My husband's name is Marlon. We have 4 children, and we put our new manufactured home on 50 acres of family land.
So our home was delivered toward the end of March 2025. We purchased the Burlington by Hamilton Homes, which is a 4-bed, 2-bath with a den.
Our dirt pad, delivery, setup, 2 sets of stairs, AC unit, and skirting were all included within the price of our home. So thankfully, we did not have to come out of pocket for those things.
So let's jump right into it. The first thing we did was land prep. So the land prep, really it wasn't much, but what we had to do was we hired someone to come out. He took down a few trees. He filled the pond. The pond was actually dried up because that's when we were kind of going through a drought here in Mississippi. So the pond was dried up. So all he had to do was put dirt in that pond to just close that hole up. And he did start a driveway for us, and he put in a culvert. So the cost of that was $4,000. Now to warn y'all, we did do this process backwards. We didn't realize until we had to go get our mobile home permit that we had to make sure this area was zoned for a mobile home. So which means that we could have done all of that work to this land in preparation for the mobile home and not even be able to put a mobile home on this land. So our advice would be that if you're looking for raw land to put a mobile home on, that you make sure before you purchase that land that you can, that land can be zoned for a mobile home. Now, there may be things that you can do in order to, for that land to be qualified to be able to put a mobile home on it, but just make sure before you purchase any land for a mobile home that it can be zoned for a mobile home.
So in this cost breakdown, we won't have a price for the actual land because, as my wife mentioned, we are on family property. So thank God we were basically gifted a part of the property to where we didn't have to actually pay for raw land. So that's not something that would be in this cost breakdown. Now, something that we did have to do was have the land surveyed to have a piece of the property cut out for us to put our home on. So that cost us $2,400.
So after the land prep and the survey, we had to get a perk test done. A perk test is when they come out and they check your soil to make sure you can put a septic tank on that particular piece of property, and that the perk test was $200.
So next up is our water meter.
Well, it looks like we're about to get our water meter placed. Hub went to the office about 2 weeks ago, and they told them that they were behind and it might take about 4 to 5 weeks for them to get our water meter. But looks like they came out to do this, and they'll probably be putting it in soon.
So they came out to do our water meter shortly after I recorded this video, and the price of our water meter was $1,700. So after the water meter, it was time to get our water line ran. Now, the issue that we ran into, which we knew was probably going to be an issue, was that the water line would need to be ran 1,400 feet. And so, of course, we were getting some very expensive quotes. The lowest quote we got for a water line, I think, was about $6,000. So it ranged from anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000. And so thankfully we had a friend from Louisiana who could come and help us do this because he had done this before. And so we were so appreciative, and it was a huge blessing that he can come help us. And so we saved about half of the cost from the quotes that we were getting by having our friend come help us. So the water line, after it was all said and done, was $3,000.
Next, we had to get our mobile home permit. The mobile home permit, it's just you need that in order to be able to legally get your mobile home delivered to the land. And so that's what I was talking about previously when I mentioned the zoning. They check to make sure your land can be zoned for a mobile home. And then after that, you get your permit and your home is delivered. But that was $197. And then on the same day, I went ahead and registered the mobile home. That was $36. So you register your mobile home, just basically it's mostly for tax purposes, but it shows that you legally own that home. And that's also for selling purposes. Like if you want to sell your mobile home later, it's good to have your mobile home registered. That's something that you would need. And then also for utility regulations, because you have to get your inspection and everything later. So that's what that's for also.
So now moving on to our driveway that we had set after the home was delivered. Now we could have gotten the driveway done before the home was delivered, but we were advised not to do that because there would be lots of trucks coming in and out, and we didn't want to have holes in the driveway before we even moved into the home and had water sitting, and that was just cause a big mess. So we didn't want that. So the driveway that we had there, that was basically just dirt, that was set up, and it was solid enough for the trucks to come in and things to be delivered as they needed to be. But then after the home was set, we had someone come in and actually do a clay gravel driveway for us. He crowned it to where water wouldn't sit on the top and all of that. And we plan to go back later to put possibly asphalt millings over that, or or limestone over it, that'll make it look a little better. And it will also minimize the sand, because this driveway that we have, I think the ratio of rocks and sand was a little off, because I think there's a lot more sand than rocks, because it gets kind of slushy when it rains, and that's sort of messy. And it still has like a reddish orange type of tint to it. So it gets real messy at times when it rains a lot. Water doesn't sit on it, thankfully, but again, it just causes a mess because of the slush in the driveway. That cost us $5,000, which saved us about $5,000, because most of the quotes that we were getting were anywhere from $10,000 and up. I think I got a couple of them that were 10,000, one that was maybe 10,500 or something like this. So we saved a lot by doing this on the front end, and then we'll go back, as I mentioned, we'll go back and actually add something else later on.
So after we got our driveway done, we got our pole and meter base done. In order to pass inspection, for our particular county, we had to have our pole and our meter base in place. And that was $2,000. We had an electrician come out and he did that for us. So now moving on to our septic system. Y'all, the septic system was a doozy. That was like the most expensive thing that we got done on the land. The septic system was close to $8,000. We'll say close to 8,000. It was about 7,800 and something dollars. So with the septic system, we're getting that done. We have the sprinkler heads. We couldn't do the leach field because we are close to two water sources, which were two ponds, and then we have the neighbor's land right behind us. So we had to do a sprinkler system. So we have 3 sprinkler heads, and then also they hooked up the piping underneath the house when they were here too, and so we paid a little extra for that to get that done. So we also had a plumber come out and he hooked up the main water line for us. where our friend capped off the water line. So basically, when they capped off the water line, it just sat there, and then the house was right beside it. So we had to get the
What's so funny about that?
I don't know. So we had to get the plumber to come out and hook up that water line for us. And he insulated the pipes when he was underneath there, and that was $700. After that, y'all, was the main finale. It was almost the main finale, but it was the most exciting part, and that was getting our power. Did you turn that on? We have light. We have power, y'all. We had to wait until we passed inspection in order to get our power turned on. And so after we passed our inspection, which we didn't have to pay anything extra for our inspection, our power was turned on, y'all. Now, the power could have been free, but it was not. And I'll tell you why. But we had our power pole and our transformer. It was placed a good ways away from the house. And then we got the line ran underground. So because we got the line ran underground, we had to pay $1,200 for our power. We didn't really want, since this is farmland, we didn't really want a lot of overhead power lines. So that's one reason why we chose to just go underground with the power line. Now, after that, the last and final thing, y'all, was getting our gas. And so we opted to do a gas stove because our power goes out quite a bit around here. And we're not priority around here. So it can be out for a little while. And so we wanted to still have a way to cook. And so we have a gas stove. And to get the gas, well, we had to wait for the power in order to get the gas so they could do their checks and everything. So to get the gas, that was $1,100. After that, y'all, we could finally officially move into our home. Now, we could have moved in earlier if we wanted to, but we wanted to comfortably move into our home. So after that, we were able to move in, and that was the last thing.
So what we spent total out of pocket, and we've mentioned, or my wife mentioned in a previous video, that we've done everything we could do to cash flow this whole process as much as possible. Well, we have cash flowed this whole process. Thanks be to God that we had some funds from the sale of our home, money that we had saved. We've been able to cash flow everything we've done up to this point. The total cost of everything that we have mentioned was $29,533. Now, it's give or take a little bit based on we sort of estimated the cost of the septic system. We were pretty close, on the amount. I think she mentioned that it was $8,000. It was probably $7,800, $7,900, something like that. So give or take $100 or so here or there. This amount's pretty accurate for us. And this was all the things that we had to do in order to get into the home. So once again, your cost could be a little different depending on what state you're in, what county you're in, if you're in Louisiana, what parish you live in, there are a lot of different factors. But for us, this was the amount that we paid. So a little under $30,000 to get into our home.
So yes, that sounds like a lot, and it actually is a lot, especially to spend out of pocket. Some people actually put a lot of these things into their mortgage, but we didn't want to do that. We wanted to be able to keep our mortgage as low as we possibly could and keep the mortgage payments as low as we possibly could. So thankfully, like my husband said, we did have some money from the sale of our previous home that we were able to put towards these costs. Now, we still came out much less than what we would have come out if we had actually built the home like we initially planned to do. And so we are pleased as far as how everything came out price-wise, financially for us. And then something else we didn't mention, we did not mention the actual cost of our home. The reason being is because this house went up $9,000 in the process of us actually getting the home. Thankfully, it was still on the price that was given to us was still honored. But the prices of these mobile homes change so much, and they also change according to what you put in it. So we chose this particular model because we could stay in the price range that we were comfortable with, but we could also customize the home to our liking and to what we wanted. And so, if y'all are interested, because I did do a video actually right after the home was delivered. I just didn't post the video, but I did do a video breaking down like what we actually added to this home. And I think I want to say I put the price in it. I'm not sure, but I did a video just kind of showing y'all what we added to this home, because y'all, when y'all go look at these homes on a lot of them are souped up. Like they have all of the bells and whistles because they want you to have that ooh ah effect, when you go in and you bright eyed and bushy tailed. And so they don't necessarily tell you right then that those things are all add-ons. And so if y'all want to know like what we added into this home, I could walk around and show y'all what we added in. Just so y'all can kind of have an idea, because a lot of these homes, like I said, on a lot, they're just decked out, but the basic model looks different. And so that's why we chose this home. We chose this home because for the space and because we could customize it and still stay within that price range.
So hopefully this video has been informative and helpful to you if you are in the market for possibly getting a manufactured home. We've given the things that we've had to pay for, and there's also another family that we've watched. I think their channel is called Our Feathered Farms or Our Feathered Farm. They also purchased their home this year, and they did a cost breakdown of what it cost them. So if you'd like to do a little bit of comparing based on area, because I think they're not, I don't think they're in Mississippi, so they're in a different state. If you want to see what it cost them, we would encourage you to go over to their channel and watch their cost breakdown. It was very thorough and very informative. Hopefully we've given a pretty good breakdown also of what we paid here in Mississippi. So we do appreciate you guys for watching the video. If you're not a subscriber, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave us a comment. We'd like to chat with you in the comment section. Until next time, may the Lord watch between us and you. God bless you, and we're out.